We are sleep deprived.
A startling number of people admit they've fallen asleep at the wheel. We went to LDS Hospital's sleep clinic to find out why that happens, even when we will ourselves to stay awake.
A study released this week shows more than 40% of us admitting to falling asleep while driving.
But why are we so tired, and why don't we recognize when we're too sleepy to drive? ABC4's Barb Smith asked a specialist about that. Those answers, at least, are eye-opening.
That's right, Robert and Karen. He says more of us are working longer hours, sacrificing sleep for work and family time. More of us have sleep disorders, and some of us work overnight. He says all of that adds up to more sleepy drivers on the road for your family. A AAA study shows 25% of us admit we climb behind the wheel too drowsy to keep our eyes open.
We all have a certain amount of biological arrogance. We don't think it's going to happen to us.
But it does happen. 5,500 traffic deaths are blamed on falling asleep behind the wheel every year. Dr. Farney says sleep deprivation causes dulled thinking, and caffeine may help, but only for a short while.
People try to do that when they're driving a car, or they'll eat, or they'll turn up the radio, or they'll roll down the windows. None of those things work.
He says ultimately the brain will take what it needs.
If the brain is thirsty for sleep, it needs to sleep. If you're thirsty for water, you have to have water. You can't eat cookies.
And he says when the brain goes to sleep, it happens fast.
We actually do fall asleep very quickly, which is the problem, is that we never know the second we fall asleep. You never know. You may be drowsy, but you don't know the second you fall asleep.
And he says it's not just long trips people need to worry about.
It can happen within a few minutes of getting in the car and driving. People who work all night and go home within the city have a higher rate of being in motor vehicle accidents.
Dr. Farney says not getting enough sleep a night is like building up a huge debt that cannot be repaid without interest due. He says adults who try to survive on 6 hours a night are sleep deprived.
After 3 or 4 nights of 6 hours a night, you're no better off than someone who's been up all night.
And he says it may take several days to catch up, not just a good Saturday sleep in. Adults should be getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night. Teenagers need between 8 and 9.5 hours to be healthy. Now, besides the risk associated with driving sleepy, there are other health problems connected to sleep deprivation, including type 2 diabetes. Karen?
All right, can be dangerous, Barb. Thank you. You know the risk